evening, it's just after 6 o'clock on Saturday the 22nd of May, and welcome to our news programme this evening. And in the news tonight, a section of the A354 has been closed off this afternoon due to a crash believed to have involved a motorcycle which required the attendance of the air ambulance. There's the air ambulance, there we go. The A345 Weymouth Relief Road was closed between the A35 football ground roundabout Dorchester to the A353 Jurassic roundabout at Upwey. A spokesman for Dorset Police said the A354 was closed both ways between the football ground roundabout and the A35 at Dorchester due to a collision which required the attendance of the air ambulance, as we say, believed to have involved a motorcyclist. We believe the road is now open at the time of going to broadcast today. Dorset police officers are investigating an armed attempted robbery in Weymouth, and asking for anyone with information to come forward. The incident happened yesterday, Friday the 21st of May at 9:59 a.m. at the junction of St Mary Street and St Thomas Street opposite the King's statue. The victim had been into Gladstone Jewellers, and after leaving the store and walking around the corner, a man grabbed a box that the victim was carrying and ran off, forcing it from his hand, and ran off down Western Road, turning right into Gloucester Street. Fortunately, the victim, a man in his 50s, had not returned the item that he just purchased or just taken from the shop, which happened to be a Rolex watch. So the box that was stolen was, fortunately for him and unfortunately for the person pinching it, empty. The offender is described as white, in his 20s. He was wearing a green hooded top and a tracksuit bottom. If anyone has any information on this, please contact Dorset Police by calling 101 or anonymously through Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. The last few days we've had strong winds and heavy showers with some large sea swell as well, and this has been affecting the county for the last few days, and you'll be well aware of that. It has been quite windy. It's felt like October this last few days as far as I'm concerned. There has been travel disruption and a few trees down and debris affecting some of the roads. Coast Guards, most importantly, have been reminding people when we get these winds and this rough weather that taking photos of the sea is, yes, nice to do, but it only takes 15 centimetres of water to knock you off your feet. So they're asking you to keep back from cliff edges, piers, harbour walls and other exposed areas if the sea is choppy. If the sea is rough, obviously don't go into the sea, and if conditions change whilst in the water, get out as quickly as possible until it's calm and safe again. Always be prepared for changeable weather. Take a fully charged phone with you if you're out and about so that you can call for help if you need it, and let someone know where you are going. Of course, if you see anyone in distress on the coast or in the water at any time, call 999 and ask for the Coast Guard. Dorset Police again are seeking some help locating a missing Weymouth woman, and if you know anything that can help them, they'd like to hear from you. Charman Niall, aged 60, was last seen at an address in Kirtleton Avenue at around 3:55 on Monday the 17th of May. She is described as white, 5 feet 5 inches tall, and a very slim build with greying black hair with a fringe, although in the picture it looks like blonde hair, but that is a picture of her. She was wearing a red coat, black tracksuit bottoms and short Wellington boots, and was carrying several carrier bags, including one with a cat on it and a plastic box. Inspector Matt Chutter of Dorset Police said, "We are becoming concerned for Charman's welfare and are keen to locate her to ensure that she is safe and well." As we said, the only images that they have of her are not recent photos, but we're hoping someone may recognise her from the description given or has information on her whereabouts. A direct plea from Dorset Police and from Matt Chutter to Charman, if she is listening, please get in touch either with Dorset Police or your family. They just want to know that you are okay. Of course, if you've got any information, usual contact number for Dorset Police of 101. Sticking with Dorset Police, lots of stuff from Dorset Police this week. Dorset Police are investigating a sexual assault in Weymouth. and are looking to trace possible witnesses who may have vital information. The incident occurred at around 6:30 a.m. on Sunday the 16th of May, so that's last Sunday. The victim was a woman aged in her 40s, was walking a dog along the footpath off of Weymouth Bay Avenue that runs between Lodmore Country Park and the RSPP Lodmore Bird Reserve, when she was approached by a man who pushed her to the floor and assaulted her. The victim was left disorientated and found by a woman believed to be aged in her 60s, who was walking a black Labrador, but did not have a mobile phone. The woman went and flagged down a man who was nearby, who then contacted the ambulance service. When the man and woman returned to the victim, she was being assisted by a male runner, and a further female runner also stopped as well. Detective Sergeant George Graham of Weymouth CID said the victim has been the subject of a very distressing assault, and she has been fully supported by specially trained officers. I'd like to reassure members of the public that we have launched a detailed investigation into this incident, and we've been carrying out a number of inquiries. We are determined to identify the offender. We are urgently trying to identify the woman who found the victim and the female runner who stopped to help, so we can take their accounts as to what information they may have or have been told. And I would ask these people or any of other witnesses to please contact us immediately. Of course, their usual contact details for Dorset Police here, 101, or through Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. Another police story, this time a White Creeches man who illegally imported cropped and docked Doberman puppies into the UK has been sentenced to 2 years and 4 months in prison for risking the rabies-free status of the country. On Monday the 17th of May at Bournemouth Crown Court, Peter Graham Harmon, aged 39, formerly of Portland Road, White Creeches, was sentenced, having previously pleaded guilty to 6 offences related to the import and sale of litters of Doberman puppies, following an investigation by Dorset Council Trading Standards. Harmon had pleaded guilty on the 23rd of March to an offence under the Fraud Act of participating in a fraudulent business for a 3-year period, 4 offences of breaching rabies import controls on numerous occasions, and an offence under the Consumer Protection from Unfair Trading Regulations for misleading claims in advertisements about the history and transportation of the animals. As we said, he's been sentenced to 2 years and 4 months in prison. Harmon operated an online business called UK Dobermans that specialised in importing cropped and docked puppies. The cropping of dogs' ears and the docking of their tails for aesthetic purposes is banned in the UK and most of Europe, but there is still a demand for these dogs. Since the business was set up in 2016, Harmon had regular shipments of dogs imported, with some selling for up to £3,000 each. The prosecution was as a result of joint efforts of Dorset Trading Standards, the Animal and Plant Health Authority Imports team at Eurotunnel, the police and the National Crime Agency. The A35 heading towards Dorchester has now reopened. Remember, we had the story of the sinkhole last week. This was on the stretch between the A31 at Beer Regis and the A35 at Stinsford Roundabout, following extensive repairs carried out by Highways England. Drivers heading westbound were unable to use the road following the emergence of a sinkhole, but following a successful programme of repair work, the road was able to be reopened at 8 a.m. on Wednesday this week. The repair work involved detailed survey and design work before 15 cubic metres of foam concrete was poured into the defect on the carriageway. Once cured, the top surface of the road was relaid before the road markings and studs were reinstalled and the road reopened. Dorset's COVID vaccination programme continues well on track, with over 750,000 doses now delivered. Figures published on the 20th of May show that 480,643 people in the county have received their first dose, with 292,315 receiving both doses since the launch of the vaccination programme late last year. That's a total of 7,722,958 doses. Over 60,000 people aged 40 to 44 have received at least one dose. 35,326 people aged 45 to 49 have received one dose, and nearly 102,000 people aged between 50 to 59 have received at least one dose. 290,000 second doses have been delivered across all age groups, including, and this is really, really good news, 95% of those aged over 70. So there are still some people who aren't taking up the offer of the vaccination. According to national data, Dorset is one of the best performing counties in the country, so that's good news. Sam Crowe, Director of Public Health for Dorset Council and Bournemouth, Christchurch and Poole Council, said, "It has been fantastic to see the enthusiasm of the COVID-19 vaccination rollout across the county, with over 750,000 doses given in Dorset so far. In recent weeks, we've seen the earlier groups coming back in for their second doses, as well as some of the younger age groups coming to get their first jab. As we look ahead to more restrictions easing, getting vaccinated is one of the best ways you can protect yourself and others around you. So please do keep booking in and attending your appointments when invited." For more information on the vaccination programme in Dorset, you can get this at www.dorsetccg.nhs.uk/vaccinations. A man has been arrested and taken to hospital after a van crashed into multiple parked vehicles on a residential road in Weymouth. A black Volkswagen Caddy van crashed into parked cars in Knightsdale Road at around 6 a.m. on Wednesday, the 19th of May. Police said the van collided with two parked vehicles, with a further vehicle being damaged during the incident. A 48-year-old Weymouth man was arrested following the crash on suspicion of driving offences and is currently assisting officers with their inquiries. He was also taken to hospital by officers for injuries that are reported not to be serious. Well, it's just after 12 minutes past 6, and that's the end of our news headlines for tonight. One of the stories that's hit the news locally this week, and certainly if you're a reader of the Dorset Echo, I think it's all over today's front page. I think it's also been on BBC and ITV News as well, is residents of a Weymouth street being asked to remove planters that have been placed throughout the street to make it a more cheerful and happy place, particularly during COVID. So this week, we've asked Lydia to go and look at this story and tell us what is going on at this street in Weymouth.
Between a very busy Park Street and Commercial Road in Weymouth, there are a couple of small, quieter streets. They have terrace houses each side, and are typical of properties built at the end of the 18th and beginning of the 19th century. I expect some people may have never noticed them. These are Bath Street and Wesley Street. Bath Street still has vehicular access and parking for residents' cars, but Wesley Street has been pedestrianised for some time, with vehicular access only for emergency vehicles. Residents of Wesley Street have for a number of years tried to make their street somewhere special by tubs and containers of plants and bunting. It's that sort of street that you imagine would always have a street party when there is a royal wedding or some other national celebration. But following a letter from Dorset Council threatening enforcement action, residents have been left totally shocked and angry. I am sure any viewers who know Wesley Street, which is not far from Weymouth bus and train stations, will remember it for its attractive floral planters outside doorsteps. And recently the colourful bunting fluttering above the street in the wind. I am sure many local residents would wish that their street had a similar sense of pride and community spirit, which is not commonplace these days. However, this is now all under threat after Dorset Council Highways wrote to residents informing them they are breaking the law by obstructing a public highway, after a number of complaints were made. The letter tells residents that the planters constitute a nuisance, and that enforcement action will be taken unless a planting out licence is obtained. The licence usually costs in the region of £300. They have also been informed they must also move the flowers off the highway. Local resident Jude Butler, talking to the Dorset Echo this week, describes the letter as a complete shock, and went on to say, "After all our efforts to make the street look nice, I was absolutely gobsmacked. We have created a sanctuary, a little piece of paradise. We don't have back gardens, so it is somewhere we can sit outdoors, speak to our neighbours, and enjoy growing things. To say I'm angry is an understatement." Residents have worked hard on their displays over many years and during the COVID lockdown. Wesley Street has become a small oasis where neighbours have been able to sit out. They have also been able to hold suitably socially distanced celebrations for events such as VE Day. The area around Wesley Street is well known for high levels of antisocial behaviour. Residents just cannot understand why the local authority is not welcoming their efforts wholeheartedly to improve the area. Another resident who also spoke to the Dorset Evening Echo said, "It feels as though we are being punished for taking pride in where we live. People treat our street with respect. Everyone comments on how lovely we've made it. Elderly people from the nearby residential home Swannery Court come here because the flowers cheer them up." Local councillor John Orrell said, "The residents of Wesley Street have made their area very attractive and we do not want to change that. But we have had several complaints about planters restricting the highway for maintenance and emergency access. So we are asking that the planters are moved back a bit." It has now been reported that Dorset Council have suggested issuing a planting out licence, free of charge. If you have not visited Wesley Street, why not have a look when you next visit the town and see all the hard work that the residents have done. Let us hope the situation with the council can be resolved and all their hard work can remain. Now back to Gary in the studio.
Thanks, Lydia. And I'm sure you'll agree, a lot of hard work's gone into putting those plants out and tending those plants and keeping them looking healthy by the residents of Wesley Street. But obviously there's a bit of a disagreement there with the council. It's quite strange. It is a pedestrian street. It's got barriers, and really the only people that will be going down there in vehicles are emergency vehicles. So I wonder what you think about that, and if that was your street. But there we go. That's a story for a Weymouth street in Weymouth. And say it would be nice if many other streets in Weymouth took the same care in making it a nice place to live. Well, moving on to our second story tonight. It's a very special occasion today, and I'm sure you all know what I'm referring to. Yes, it's a Eurovision Song Contest final day. Now, don't tell me you didn't know that. I'm sure most of you do. There's always a lot of hype and a lot of excitement about Eurovision. I know it's something that doesn't appeal to everybody. Some people absolutely adore it and love the fun of it and sitting down and making a family party of it, and other people avoid it like the plague. I wonder which one you are. Is Eurovision something that you enjoy or something that you avoid? Well, this week we asked Janet Hall to look at the history of Eurovision. And I should point out, Janet realised just before we went on air in a frantic message that actually at the start of her report she says that the final is on Sunday, and it's not. It's actually on Saturday. So it was too late for us to change that. So it is tonight, believe me. So don't miss it if you want to watch it. Eurovision is tonight. But let's see Janet's report for this week.
Hello. If I remind you that on Sunday it is the Eurovision Song Contest again, will you cheer or groan? It's a bit like Marmite. People either love it or loathe it. The Eurovision Song Contest's founding stemmed from a desire to promote cooperation between European countries in the years following the Second World War. This gave rise to the founding of the European Broadcasting Union in 1950, and the word Eurovision was first used in 1951. A committee was formed in January 1955 to investigate new initiatives, including a European Song Contest, which was eventually held in October 1955 under the title European Grand Prix. Eurovision has been held annually, apart from 2020, since 1956, making it the longest running annual international televised music competition and one of the world's longest running television programmes. My first memory was in 1959, when the UK Eurovision entrant song took second place. It was performed by husband and wife duo Pearl Carr and Teddy Johnson and was called Sing Little Birdie. If I remember, it went something like this. Sing little birdie, sing your song, sing to help our love along. Sing little birdie, sing your song of love. That's what Eurovision songs were like in those days. It wasn't until 1967 that the UK got first place with Sandy Shaw in Vienna singing Puppet on a String. She was the first UK winner, scoring 47 points. 2 years after Sandy's win, Lulu triumphed in 1969 in Madrid. She sang Boom Bang a Bang, but her win wasn't without controversy because 3 other countries tied with the UK on 18 points, and there were no rules in place to decide an overall winner. So all 4 countries were declared winners. Later, the rules were changed to make sure that that situation never happened again. In 1976, Brotherhood of Man triumphed with Save Your Kisses for Me. The UK were crowned victors again in the 1980s when Bucks Fizz received the most points in 1981. After that, it was a barren time. And then suddenly, Katrina and the Waves, a British-American band, brought the trophy home in 1997 with Walking on Sunshine. It was a resounding success for the UK that year, with Katrina later saying, "It was such a feel-good, light-as-in-the-air cheesy number. It would have been embarrassing for it not to win. It had 'I am a winner' written all over it." Bit like Sing Little Birdie, really. Other great successes over the years are Congratulations and Power to All Our Friends by Cliff Richard, and of course, Waterloo and ABBA. It has received much criticism for its musical and artistic quality, and for a perceived political aspect to the event, and concerns have been raised regarding political friendships and rivalries between countries potentially influencing the results. It wasn't like that when it started. My early memories of it was a very proper affair. Katie Boyle hosted the contest in 1960, 1963, 1968 and 1974 when it took place in the UK, and introduced it for the UK in other years in a very dignified way. And then, in 1980, Terry Wogan provided the BBC's television commentary, and everything changed. I can remember the first time I heard him doing it. I felt I had never laughed so much in all my life, but he wasn't popular with everyone. His deadpan commentating style, which often involved humour at the expense of others, caused controversy. After Wogan's death, his presentation of the contest was criticised for its mocking tone. I'll leave you to decide. The change in the Eurovision Song Contest since its early days to the kind of joyous mayhem which happens now is amazing, and perhaps echoes those many changes in the world of popular music in the last 70 years. I have to admit I don't watch it now like I used to, but over the years it has brought with it a great deal of fun for many, stardom for a few, and hysterical mirth for followers of Terry Wogan. I wonder what will happen this year. See you soon.
Thanks, Janet, for that report. And I know you'll be very disappointed that we didn't have actually any of the actual songs from Eurovision. And that's simply for copyright purposes that we couldn't get permission to play them. And that's, of course, one of the problems when you are broadcasting things, that you either have to have rights to do it or seek permission. And we were unable to get permission to do that today. Now, if you want to watch Eurovision, it is on at 8 o'clock tonight. Of course, we've got our quiz programme on at 7:30. So if you want to watch Eurovision, then hopefully you'll be doing it on Catch Up TV so that you can join us for the quiz and then catch up with Eurovision later on. Maybe you won't be watching Eurovision. Who knows? Thank you, Janet, anyway, for that report. And to say it is tonight and not Sunday, as mentioned at the start of the report. One of the things that we've covered several times over the the time that we've been doing this program now, which is about 15 months, is the issue of bank fraud and online fraud and scams. They keep coming back to hit us, and there certainly has been a resurgence lately, certainly in the White Regis area, of door knocking and the old selling people tarmac and reporting tiles off the roof. So that's something to be aware of. But to this week, I've been learning about the massive amount, and massive is the right word, of counterfeit goods that are being sold, and that this is becoming more of an issue with people buying online. And the program is growing rapidly. Certainly during COVID, the amount of people buying online has grown rapidly, and this has fed the need for these counterfeit goods. So this week I've been looking at how much of a problem the sale of counterfeit goods are, and how we can protect ourselves from buying fake and substandard goods online. From fake designer watches or handbags to COVID vaccines, counterfeit trade is booming. Last month, trading standards officers and police cut their way into 22 cargo containers set up as an ad hoc open-air market in West London. They discovered £2.5 million worth of counterfeit goods. Among the haul were items that had originated from China, Hong Kong, Bangladesh and Turkey. They were fake designer goods such as perfumes, jewellery and electronics bearing names such as Versace, Chanel, Burberry, Apple and Rolex. There were racks and racks of goods with items such as handbags that would normally cost £800 being offered for as little as £50. Such is the scale of fake goods coming into the UK that only a few days later another operation close to Heathrow Airport took 3 days to complete and catalogue the 45,000 items seized, with a retail value of around £15 million. But despite the success of these raids, this is just a very small fraction of the counterfeit goods now coming into the UK and being sold. It is estimated that last year that fakes worth around £13.6 billion were imported into Britain. This is thought to be an increasing trend, with the shift to online shopping continuing to grow and being particularly speeded up by the COVID pandemic, and more people than ever now shopping online. It is also a worrying time, as it is estimated that looking at just one type of goods, like fake electrical goods, it reveals that around 37% have been found to be dangerous. Growing markets in fakes worldwide include makeup, tobacco and counterfeit medication, and even fake vaccinations. In Britain, there is currently no evidence of counterfeit medications entering conventional distribution networks that supply pharmacies and hospitals, although fake medication has been found for sale online. So it's very much a time for buyers to be aware, especially when buying online. If you are looking to buy any expensive item and the price you're being offered is a very good deal, do be careful. An example of this would be bicycles normally being sold around £2,000 might be offered at somewhere between £1,000 and £1,500, making it look like a good bargain, but not low enough to make you question whether they are legitimate goods. Here are some simple tips to help you stay safe and avoid buying counterfeit goods. Trust your instincts. If an offer looks too good to be true, then it probably is. Legitimate designer items are rarely discounted, so do not rush and be fooled into believing you're getting a good deal. Check the spelling and grammar on the website and of the URL, the distinct website address. Often the people behind these sites do not pay a lot of attention or care to this detail. Fraudsters may also try to deceive you by slightly changing the spelling of a well-known brand or shop in the website address. Look to see where the trader is based and whether a postal address is provided. Just because the web address has UK, do not assume the seller is based in the UK. If there is no address supplied or there is just a PO box or email, be wary. Only deal with reputable sellers Only use sites you know or ones that you have been recommended to by others. If you have not bought from the seller before, do your research and check online reviews. People will often turn to forums and blogs to warn others of fake sites and bad deals and how they have been affected. Ensure that the website address begins with HTTPS at the payment stage. This indicates a secure payment. There are lots more tips and helpful advice available online. Go to the following website: https://www.fact-uk.org.uk and search under counterfeit goods. There we go. That's my report this week on counterfeit goods, and what massive numbers are involved, isn't it? Over £13 billion worth of goods sold each year in the UK. That is actually bigger than some of our major companies, and that's the amount of goods that are coming in from other countries that are made cheaply, and they're actually got counterfeit brands on them. And the electrical goods is a worrying one. 37% of electrical goods, counterfeit electrical goods, are faulty and not safe. So very much a case of buyer beware. And of course, you can also speak to your local trading standards department if you want advice as well, or are concerned about the standard of products that you have purchased. So it's time now for our national weather forecast, and this evening we are joined by Aidan McGivern from the Met Office.
Hi there. An improvement in the weather this weekend, although that's not saying much. It will just be less wet and windy, I think, for much of the time. And there'll be some brighter skies on Saturday in particular, but still a few showers to dodge. Here's the low that we've been dealing with through Thursday and Friday. It is painfully slow as it makes its way into the North Sea. And then the showers quite quickly ease away on Saturday night. Clear spells widely and those temperatures dropping off quite quickly again. So a touch of frost possible in places as we start off Sunday, a chill in the air. But in the west, quite quickly showers return into Wales, Western England and Northern Ireland by the end of the night, and that will keep temperatures a little bit higher here. But yeah, showers from the word go in the west first thing Sunday. Brighter skies for Scotland and Eastern England, some sunshine. But I think the best weather will be in the morning on Sunday for most places. Quite quickly, showers move across the country, and then this quite intense feature, 2 to 3 hours of heavy rainfall and strengthening winds associated with it, risk of gales around southwestern coasts by Sunday afternoon. And it's likely to give a short-lived spell of really intense rainfall as it pushes in during the afternoon. It's early afternoon in the west, and then it moves later in the day towards the north and the east. So really a lot of weather going on Sunday, and of course that will have an impact on temperatures, 12 to 13 Celsius. So yeah, the weather stays pretty unsettled for now. However, there are some signs of an improvement next week, and we'll keep you updated on that on social media. Bye-bye.
Thank you there, Aidan. As Aidan said, there are some signs of improvement. So what does the weather locally hold for us this week? Well, it's certainly going to stay unsettled for the first part of the week through until probably Wednesday, with continued unsettled weather, shower and sunny periods. But hopefully Thursday and Friday look to be drier and sunnier, and temperatures up to sort of 14-15 degrees. So maybe next weekend will be even better than Thursday and Friday. So drier as the week goes on, but certainly up until Wednesday, lots more rain to come. Now, looking at traffic and travel, it seems that each week seem to have the same record almost of the works that are going on. And there are massive amounts of work going on throughout White Regis and the wider Weymouth by Wessex Water, replacing pipework. And this week there's work undertaking in Galway Road still, South Road, St David's Road, Marlborough Avenue, and Southern Electric are also working in Walker Crescent as well. Roadworks are also scheduled this week for Faircross Avenue, and delays are possible with those works. On the trains, though, good news. No planned engineering works on train services from Weymouth this weekend or the week ahead. Moving to what's on. All of those things I've been telling you about over recent weeks, all those things that are opening back up, are now open. So that's Portland Castle, Fancy's Farm, Portland Museum, Portland D-Day Centre, Weymouth Museum, the Keep Military Museum in Dorchester, the Knowth Fort and the Sea Life Centre. So plenty of things to do if you fancy venturing out. And these are all places that are taking the COVID precautions very seriously and have things in place to keep you safe. Of course, the new Dorset Museum, or the refurbished Dorset Museum, reopens this week on Friday the 28th of May, and certainly looking at the photos and the video that has been released of the refurbished museum, there's been a significant investment in the museum and it looks absolutely fantastic, so that will be one worth visiting soon as well. Of course, our local cinemas are now back open, and Weymouth Pavilion has started to operate its shows again as well. And they have a packed programme, so do please visit their website and see what is going on there. Of course, this week, starting today, is also Dorset Arts Week. And this is where various people open their studios and facilities for people to go and see their artwork. Things are a little different this year and obviously more precautions in place. So to find out where the venues are, when they're open and any specific restrictions, if you go to the Dorset Arts Week website, all of the information is there, and that's on dorsetartweek, not singular, not plural, .co.uk, www.dorsetartweeks.co.uk. Of course, next week will be half-term week, and the Knowth Fort is open, and they've got their long-awaited Mission to Save the Knowth Fort, a great activity for families and children at the Knowth Fort next week, with lots of code breaking and clues, and the plan to disarm the bomb at this unique event that celebrates the history of spies in Weymouth and Portland during the Cold War. One other thing I want to let you know that's coming up next weekend, and hopefully we'll have something on this in our programme next week, is next Sunday evening, that's the 6th of June, at 7 p.m, there is a live stream coming straight from the heart of the West End in London. It's called The Show Must Go On, and this is an organisation that has been formed to support those that work in the creative arts, particularly in the West End in musicals and theatre, who have struggled and suffered significantly during the COVID pandemic. Many of those are self-employed, and whilst they do earn reasonable money when they are performing, when they're not performing, there is no pay. We do have some links with Whitecridge people who have gone to work in the West End, and I know they have found it particularly difficult over the last year or so. Now, what is happening next Sunday is a lot of these musicals, if you like the musicals, are going to be performing from a venue in London and live streaming across the UK at 7 p.m. on Sunday evening, and they're just asking people to go online and make a donation. You can watch it without making a donation if you so wish, but obviously they're giving their time and they're asking you to support their fundraising, to support those people who have been particularly hit by the pandemic and unable to work and have had no government grants or funding because of the nature of the business they are in. So we will put more information out about that next week, but that's The Show Must Go On, Sunday the 6th at 7 p.m, and we'll tell you about that next week. We now move to what is normally our film slot. Well, actually, you'll be aware that we've covered lots and lots of the films over recent weeks, and in fact, we've covered all of the films that are currently just been released or just about to be released. And looking at the Cineworld website today to see if there was anything I'd actually missed, we've covered just about all of those films. So I haven't got a film for you tonight. But what I have got is a new Disney-based television series, which I thought might be of interest. It's called The Mysterious Benedict Society. It's an up-and-coming mystery-adventure television series based on the young adult book series by Trenton Lee Stewart and illustrated by Carson Ellis, which was first published in 2007. It tells the story of 4 gifted children: Rennie Muldoon, George Sticky Washington, Kate Wetherell, and Constance Contraire, who form the mysterious Benedict Society and are sent to investigate an institution called LIVE, the Learning Institute for the Very Enlightened. It's run by a man named Ledropther Curtin. I hope I got that right. Ledropther Curtin. Lots of funny names in this. Reynard Rennie Muldoon is an orphaned boy who lives in the Stone Town orphanage. One morning at breakfast, his tutor, Miss Perumore, notices an advertisement in the newspaper targeted towards gifted children. Rennie follows up and finds himself presented with a series of complex puzzles and odd tests. He passes all of the tests and qualifies to help Mr. Nicholas Benedict. He meets 3 other gifted children: George Sticky Washington, Kate Wetherell, and Constance Contraire. Mr. Benedict, the organiser of the test, is assisted by his subordinates number 2, Rhonda Kazembe, and Milligan, the secret agent that turned into a security guard for Benedict. They explain that a mysterious threat plagues the world in the form of secret messages transmitted into people's minds via television and radio signals. These messages have created the illusion of international panic known as the emergency. Mr. Benedict invited the children to form a team to stop the sender from sending them. The messages originated at the Learning Institute for the Very Enlightened, LIVE. The children join the institute as students and spies, of course, and discover astonishing facts that help them complete their mission. It's set to debut on Disney Plus on June the 25th, and it consists of 8 episodes. So, hopefully you'll enjoy this trailer for the mysterious Benedict Society.
There is a place where truth matters, even if most people don't pay attention to it. Our organization is always searching for those who appreciate the truth.
If any child is caught cheating, they will be executed. Excused. Will be excused.
And our criteria for approval may be considered mysterious.
Mr. Benedict, we have our team. Hello?
I'm the aforementioned Mr. Benedict.
You all possess a quality that is lacking in our society.
Raina, your intuitive understanding of human nature. Sticky, your reservoir of knowledge. Constance,
Your defiance of conventional thought patterns.
Kate, your uncanny feel for how things go together.
What is it that you all have in common?
I see fear and bad fashion.
You're very unpleasant.
Okay.
You're the only ones capable of seeing the truth, then together you are immensely powerful. We're asking you to go on a mission that can only be accomplished by children. There is a sinister force brainwashing us. And yes, he is my twin brother.
So, you need a bunch of smart orphans to do a deadly mission. I get it.
Ideally not deadly. There is a place